Listen closely. You weren't meant to stumble across this by accident. You're here because somewhere deep inside, a storm has been raging. A storm you've tried to outrun, suppress, or maybe even ignore. But storms don't ask for permission. They arrive unannounced, tearing through your life, uprooting everything you thought was stable, and leaving you stranded in chaos. And here you are, standing in the aftermath. Battered, but not broken. Yes, you're still standing. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like the world conspired to break you? Like every move you made was met with resistance? Like the universe itself whispered, "You don't belong here." Maybe it was the people who doubted you, the voices that told you you weren't enough. Or maybe it was life itself, delivering blow after blow until you began to believe the lies. That's the power of storms. They don't just destroy what's outside, they attack what's within. Picture it, the storm they threw at you. Dark skies swirling, winds howling, rain pelting your face like shards of glass. Every step forward felt like an uphill battle against forces you couldn't control. You reached for help, but your cries were swallowed by the thunder. You clung to hope, but the winds tore it from your grasp. They said the storm was your end. They said you'd drown in it. They said you disappeared, forgotten, like a leaf swept away in the gale. But here's the truth no one told you. Storms aren't meant to destroy you. They're meant to awaken you. Do you feel that? That fire burning in your chest, that ache to prove them wrong? That's not weakness. That's not fear. That's the start of something powerful. Because the thing about storms is that they're relentless, yes, but so are you. If you listen closely, you'll hear it. The wind that was meant to tear you apart is now at your back, ready to lift you higher. The storm they threw at you wasn't your burial, it was your birthplace. You don't see it yet, do you? You don't believe me when I tell you that what was meant to break you is the very thing that will make you. And I get it. Right now it's hard to see anything but the wreckage, the shattered pieces of dreams, the scars you carry like heavy chains. But here's what you need to understand. This storm, this pain, this chaos, it isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. It's the forge where you're being reshaped, rebuilt, and reborn. You've been told to fear the storm. You've been told to hide, to shrink, to wait for it to pass. But let me tell you something no one else will. Storms don't pass for people like you. People like you were born to face them head on. People like you were meant to rise in the middle of the chaos, to use the wind and the rain and the thunder as fuel. This isn't the end of your story. This is the moment you stop running. This is the moment you turn around, plant your feet, and say, no more. Because here's the thing, they underestimated you. They thought they could crush you under the weight of their words, their doubt, their rejection. They thought you'd fold, that you'd crumble under the pressure. But what they didn't realize is that storms don't destroy the strong. They refine them. And you, my friend, are stronger than they'll ever know. Let me ask you again, are you ready to stop surviving and start thriving? What's the price? Are you ready to take the storm they threw at you and turn it into the very wind beneath your wings? I need you to feel this. Not just hear it, but feel it in your bones. That storm was never your end, it was your beginning. It wasn't meant to silence you. It was meant to teach you to roar louder than the thunder. This isn't just a story I'm telling you. It's a story you're living. And the pages ahead, they're yours to write. But first you need to decide. Will you let the storm define you? Or will you rise above it, stronger, unshakable, and free? This is your call to action, your invitation to transformation. The question isn't if you'll rise. The question is when. And I have a feeling the answer is now. Because here's the truth they don't want you to know. The storm wasn't sent to bury you. It was sent to raise you. And it's time to rise, time to rewrite your story, time to spread your wings and show the world what happens when someone like you refuses to break. So are you ready? The storm is calling. It's time to answer. Let me tell you something. I see you. I see the cracks you've tried to hide, the weight you carry so silently that no one else even notices. I see the way you wake up every morning, forcing yourself to keep moving when all you want to do is stop, to collapse, to give in. You tell yourself you're fine, that you'll figure it out, but deep down you're screaming for someone, anyone, to hear you, to tell you it's okay to feel the way you do, to tell you that you're not alone. But instead of hearing that, what do you get? Lies, endless anxiety, people, even your own mind. They whisper the same poison over and over again. You're not enough. You'll never make it. This is just who you are, broken, forgotten, unworthy. And over time, those whispers turned into truths you believed. You didn't just hear the lies, you absorbed them. You let them shape the way you see yourself, like a mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces, distorting your reflection. Let's talk about the betrayals. The ones that cut the deepest weren't from strangers, were they? No. They came from the people you trusted. It's the ones who promised to be there, the ones who swore they'd never leave. And yet, when the storm hit, they were the first to go, weren't they? They walked away and left you standing in the wreckage, clutching the shards of promises they never intended to keep. And maybe, just maybe, you started to think they were right to leave. Maybe you started to think it was you, that you were the problem, that you weren't worth staying for. And then there's the loneliness. Not the kind that comes from being alone, but the kind that comes from being surrounded by people who don't truly see you. You sit in rooms full of noise, yet you feel invisible. You smile, you laugh, you play the part, but inside you're drowning. And the world keeps spinning, oblivious to the storm inside you, like you're a ghost moving through a life that doesn't even feel like yours. You've tried to fight it, haven't you? You've tried to shake the feeling, to push through, to hold it all together, but no matter how hard you try, there's this voice in the back of your mind that won't stop. It keeps whispering, why even bother? You'll just fail again. That voice, let's name it for what it is, fear. Fear that you're not strong enough. Fear that you're not smart enough. Fear that even if you try, you'll never get it right. Fear is a liar, but it's loud, isn't it? It drowns out every other thought, every spark of hope, until all you can hear is its venom. And let's not forget the expectations, the chains they wrapped around you so tightly that you started to believe you couldn't move. The world told you what you had to be, successful, perfect, put together, always in control. But what they didn't tell you is how suffocating those chains would become. They didn't tell you that chasing perfection would leave you feeling more lost, more broken, and more exhausted than ever before. It's no wonder you feel trapped. You've been running on empty for so long, trying to meet everyone else's expectations, that you forgot about your own. You've spent so much time proving your worth to people who don't even see you, that you've forgotten you don't need their approval. And now it's time to show yourself. Like a Crayola, and that's the cruelest part of it all, isn't it? They've convinced you that your worth is something you have to earn, when in reality it's something you've had all along. Let me be clear, this isn't your fault. The world around you has spent years building the perfect storm to keep you stuck. Society taught you to measure your value in achievements and appearances. People you loved taught you that your feelings didn't matter, that your voice wasn't worth hearing. And fear? Fear taught you to doubt yourself at every turn, to stay small, to play it safe. These are your villains, the forces that have kept you down, tied you up, and made you believe that this is all there is for you. But I need you to hear me when I say this. They are wrong, every single one of them. The lies they told you are not your truth. The chains they wrapped around you are not unbreakable. The storm they created doesn't have to define you. Look around you. Do you think you're the only one who feels this way? You're not. So many people are walking through life feeling exactly as you do, shattered, defeated, and alone. But here's the difference. You're here now. You've taken a step that most people never will. You've opened yourself to the possibility that there's more to life than pain, more to you than they ever let you believe. That's not weakness, that's courage. You are not alone in this storm. And as much as it feels like you're sinking, like the waves are too strong, I need you to know one thing. You're stronger than you think. You've survived things that would have destroyed someone else. You've carried pain that would have crushed someone else. And yet, you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, even if it doesn't feel like it. But let's be honest, survival isn't enough, is it? You weren't meant to just survive, you were meant to thrive. And that starts by calling out the lies, breaking the chains, and stepping into the truth of who you are. Yes, the storm is real. Yes, the pain is real, but so is your strength. And I promise you, it's greater than you've been led to believe. So let me ask you this, are you ready to stop letting the storm control you? Are you ready to face it head on, to call out your villains, and to take back the power they tried to steal? Because the moment you do, everything will change. The storm they threw at you was meant to keep you down, but what they didn't realize is that it's also the very thing that can lift you higher than you ever imagined. How long has it been? How long have you been carrying this weight, dragging it behind you like chains forged from everything you've ever lost? Days, weeks, years, it's hard to say, isn't it? Because when the storm hits and refuses to pass, time becomes a blur. The world keeps spinning, people keep moving, but you feel like you're stuck in quicksand, sinking a little more every day. And no one notices, or maybe they do and they just don't care. Do you remember the moment you first felt it? That deep, gnawing ache in your chest? That moment you realized the world wasn't as kind as you once believed? Maybe it was the first betrayal, a friend who turned their back on you, a family member who let you down. Or maybe it was the first time you reached for something. Hope, love, a dream, and watched it slip through your fingers like smoke. An American great expression. Go find it. Look into your past, weather it, or it weathers you. Whatever it was, it left a mark. And that mark, it's never truly faded. Let's go deeper. You know the feeling I'm talking about. The one that creeps in during the quiet moments. When the world slows down and you're left alone with your thoughts, it strikes. That voice in your head, the one that whispers every fear you've ever tried to ignore. What if this is all there is? What if you never get out? What if you're not strong enough to change anything? And it doesn't stop there, does it? No, it's relentless. It reminds you of every failure, every rejection, every time you fell short. It replays those moments like a broken record until they don't just feel like memories. They feel like proof. Proof that you're not enough. Proof that you'll always be stuck in this storm. Proof that the life you once dreamed of was never meant for you. But here's the thing, those thoughts, those fears, they're liars, ruthless, convincing liars. And they thrive in your darkest moments, feeding off your pain, keeping you trapped in a cycle of doubt and despair. They want you to believe that this is your truth, that the storm defines you, that there's no way out. But let me ask you this, how long are you going to let them win? Look at where you are right now. Be honest with yourself. Are you living or are you just surviving? How many mornings have you woken up with a heavy heart, dreading the day ahead? How many nights have you stared at the ceiling, replaying your mistakes, wondering if you'll ever feel whole again? How many times have you told yourself you'll start tomorrow, only to let tomorrow turn into another yesterday? You're stuck and it's suffocating, isn't it? It feels like you're walking through life with a weight on your chest, a constant pressure that makes even the smallest tasks feel insurmountable. You've built walls around yourself, thinking they'll protect you, but all they've done is keep the world out and you in. You're trapped in a prison of your own making, and the longer you stay there, the harder it is to imagine a way out. Let's not sugarcoat it. Staying in this place will cost you everything. Your dreams, they'll fade into distant memories. Your relationships, they'll crumble under the weight of your silence. Your sense of self, it will erode until you barely recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. This is what happens when you let the storm win. It doesn't just take, it consumes. But here's the thing, as much as it hurts to face this truth, it's necessary. Because pain has a way of waking us up. It forces us to look at the pieces of our lives we've been too scared to confront. And while it feels unbearable, it's also a reminder that you're still here, that you're still fighting, even if it doesn't feel like it. And if you're still fighting, that means you haven't given up yet. Not completely. So let me ask you, how much longer are you willing to stay here? How much longer are you going to let the storm control your life? Because here's the reality. You can't wait for it to pass. You can't keep telling yourself that someone will come along and save you. This is your storm, and no one else can fight it for you. If you don't take the first step, nothing will change. And that should terrify you more than the storm itself. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it feels impossible. But the alternative? The alternative is staying stuck in this place forever, letting the pain and fear and doubt dictate your every move. And you deserve more than that. You deserve to break free, to rise above the storm, to prove to yourself and to the world that you are more than the sum of your struggles. But it starts with you, no one else. You have to look the storm in the eye and say, enough. You have to acknowledge the pain, the fear, the hopelessness, and decide that it doesn't get to define you. Because as long as you're breathing, you have a choice. And every choice you make, no matter how small, is a step toward reclaiming your power. This is your low point. I won't lie to you. It's dark, it's lonely, and it's hard to see the way forward. But do you know what they say about rock bottom? Now, you may not want to experience rock bottom, but do you know what they say about it once you do? It's the solid foundation upon which you can rebuild. And rebuild you must. Because the storm they threw at you may have knocked you down, but it hasn't destroyed you. Not yet. And as long as you're still here, you have the power to rise. So I'll ask you again, how long will you let this storm define you? How long will you let the lies, the fear, and the pain control your life? Because the moment you decide to stand up, to fight back, to take even the smallest step forward, that's the moment everything changes. That's the moment the storm becomes the wind beneath your wings. And that moment, it can be now, if you choose it. Let's be clear about one thing. The fact that you're still here is proof of something extraordinary. And for that moment, Kevin, I'll ask you this, because I know the 100 Pursuit version. If you choose it, let's be clear about one thing. The fact that you're still here is proof of something extraordinary. You've been through the fire, you've weathered the storm, and you've carried a weight most people couldn't even comprehend. And yet, you're still standing. Maybe not as tall as you once were, maybe not without scars, but you're here. And that's power. They called you weak, they said you couldn't handle it, that you'd break under the pressure. But here's the truth. The ones who doubted you, who underestimated you, they weren't afraid of your weakness. They were terrified of your strength. They knew that if you ever realized just how powerful you are, you'd become unstoppable. And that's exactly what you're about to do. Take a moment, look back at everything you've been through. Every loss, every betrayal, every failure. It's all shaped you. It's forged you in a fire that would have consumed anyone else. And while you may see those experiences as proof of your brokenness, They're actually the foundation of your resilience. Your scars aren't signs of defeat, they're badges of honor. They're proof that you survived, that you endured, and that you're still here, ready to fight another day. Think about a tree in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pounds, the branches bend under the pressure. And yet the storm doesn't destroy it. It strengthens its roots. The tree becomes more grounded, more resilient, more prepared for the next storm. And you're no different. Every storm you've faced has made you stronger, whether you realize it or not. Your roots run deep now, and no storm can ever uproot you again. But here's the thing about storms. They don't just leave destruction in their wake. They also leave opportunity. The rain nourishes the ground, the winds clear away the debris, and the chaos creates space for new growth. This storm you've been fighting, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. In this chapter, it's the one where you rise. You've been told you're powerless, that the circumstances of your life are beyond your control. But that's another lie they've fed you. You have more power than you've ever been allowed to believe. Finally, look to the light, the power to rewrite your story, the power to take everything they tried to use against you and turn it into fuel. Because here's the truth. Your pain isn't a period, it's a comma. It's the pause before the most powerful part of your story begins. Let's talk about resilience. It's not about never falling, it's about getting back up every time you do. It's about looking at the wreckage of your life and deciding to rebuild, brick by brick, no matter how long it takes. Resilience is a quiet kind of strength, one that doesn't need to scream or prove itself. It's in the way you keep going when everything in you says to stop. It's in the way you choose hope when despair feels easier. It's in the way you take the pieces of your brokenness and turn them into something beautiful. And here's the most important part. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every time you face a challenge, every time you survive a storm, you're adding to it. You're becoming stronger, wiser, more unshakable. And the best part? There's no limit to how resilient you can become. The more you face, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more unstoppable you become. It's time to challenge the beliefs that have been holding you back. They told you that your pain defines you, that your failures are permanent, that you're not enough. But those are their lies, not your truth. Your truth is this: you are more than your pain. You are more than your scars. You are more than the storm that tried to break you. You are a force of nature, and it's time you started living like it. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself not as you are, but as who you could become. See yourself standing tall, your scars gleaming like armor in the sunlight. See yourself walking through the wreckage of the storm, not as a victim, but as a warrior. See yourself holding the pen, ready to write the next chapter of your story, a chapter filled with strength, resilience, and triumph. That's who you are. That's who you've always been, even if you couldn't see it. And now it's time to reclaim your power, to take the pen and write your own story, to stop letting the storm dictate your life and start using it to propel you forward. Because here's the secret no one tells you. The storm didn't destroy you, it awakened you. It woke up something inside of you that's been dormant for too long. Something fierce, something unstoppable, something unbreakable. And God rest your sad-ass soul for bringing it back from the edge of the globe. We're joined by Niels' first star, a scholarly group of young men and women, spending 2 decades turning to healing moodily. They thought they could bury you. They thought the weight of the storm would crush you. But what they didn't realize is that you're not just a survivor. You're a fighter. You're a builder. You're a creator. And now it's time to rise, to take the wind they threw at you and use it to soar higher than they ever imagined. Your pain is not the end of the story. It's the ink for a new chapter. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They're the foundation of your strength. And your storm? It's not your enemy. It's the wind beneath your wings. This is your turning point. This is the moment you decide to stop letting the storm control your life. This is the moment you take back your power, rewrite your story, and rise to become everything they said you couldn't. Because the truth is, they didn't break you. They built you. And now it's your time to show the world just how powerful you've become. Let me tell you something you may not have realized yet. You've already won. Yes, you, the one who thought they were broken beyond repair, the one who believed the lies, the one who almost gave up, you've already won. Why? Because you're still here. Because the storm they threw at you didn't bury you. It unearthed you. And now it's time to step into the truth of who you are. They thought they had you figured out, didn't they? They thought you'd crumble under the weight of their words, their doubts, their rejection. They thought you'd stay down, that you'd settle for a life of mediocrity, that you'd never rise again. But they were wrong. So very wrong, because here you are, standing in the middle of the wreckage, and you're not just surviving, you're transforming. Take a moment and think about it. Every storm you faced, every battle you fought, every tear you've cried, it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't a punishment, and it wasn't a mistake. Since this life grinds us to dust, no one should ever live. It was preparation. Preparation for this moment, right here, right now. The storm didn't come to destroy you, it came to teach you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the wings you were always meant to have. Do you see it now? The storm was never your enemy. It was your ally, your forge, your awakening. They thought they were breaking you, but all they were doing was chiseling away the parts of you that, and now, what's left is the purest, strongest, most unshakable version of you. Here's the thing about storms. They don't just leave destruction in their wake. They create space for growth. Think about it. The rain that pelted you, the wind that howled against you, the chaos that tore through your life. It was all clearing the way for something new, something greater. And now it's your turn to rise. Let me ask you this. Will you remain in the shadow of their words, or will you rise to prove them wrong? Will you let the lies they told you define you, or will you rewrite the narrative? Will you stay buried in the rubble, or will you use it as the foundation for something unbreakable? These aren't just questions, they're choices. And the choice you make today will define the rest of your life. They said you were done. They said you were finished. But they didn't see what was happening beneath the surface, did they? They didn't see the roots growing deeper, the fire burning brighter, the wings forming in the chaos. They didn't see the death falling from the sky. Like a canine, they didn't see the storm transforming you into something unstoppable. But now they're about to see exactly who you are. Because here's the truth. They didn't destroy you, they discovered you. They unearthed the parts of you that you didn't even know were there. The strength, the resilience, the fire. It was always within you, waiting for the right moment to emerge. And this is that moment. This is the turning point. This is the moment you stop living in the shadows of their doubt and step into the light of your truth. Think of a phoenix. It doesn't rise from the ashes because it's invincible. It rises because the fire was necessary for its transformation. The flames didn't destroy it, they awakened it. They revealed its true nature. And you are no different. The fire you've been through wasn't the end, it was the beginning of a version of you that can't be broken, that can't be silenced. Repeat this to yourself. I am not broken, I am not weak. I am not defined by their words or their doubts. I am stronger than the storm. I am greater than the pain. I am more than they ever imagined. Say it again and again, until it's not just something you say, it's something you believe. Because once you believe it, nothing and no one can take it from you. Let's talk about transformation. It's not easy, and it's not pretty. It's messy, it's painful, and it's uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. You can't become something new without letting go of what no longer serves you. And that's what the storm has been doing, forcing you to let go. Let go of the lies, the doubts, the fear. Let go of the need for their approval. Let go of the version of yourself that you thought you had to be. Because here's the secret. You were never meant to be what they wanted you to be. You were meant to be so much more. They threw a storm at you, but they didn't realize they were giving you exactly what you needed to fly. The wind that was meant to break you is now the wind beneath your wings. And those wings, they were always there waiting for you to spread them. So now the choice is yours. Will you let the storm define you, or will you rise above it? Will you let their doubts control you, or will you use them as fuel? Will you stay grounded, or will you soar? Because make no mistake, you were born to soar. You were born to rise above the chaos, to turn your pain into power, to show the world what happens when someone refuses to give up. This is your moment, your awakening, your transformation. They thought they could keep you down, but they didn't realize they were only making you stronger. They thought the storm would break you, but they didn't realize it was building you. And now it's time to rise, to spread your wings, to take everything they threw at you and use it to fly higher than they ever thought possible. Because the truth is, they didn't bury you. As you rise to the collapse of society and the tumult it resulted, they planted you. And what's been growing in the dark is about to bloom into something unstoppable. This is your turning point. This is your moment. The storm wasn't your end, it was your beginning. So rise, soar, and show them that the wind they sent to break you is now the force that lifts you to greatness. Now that you've seen the truth, that the storm didn't come to destroy you, but to awaken you, it's time to take the next step. Transformation isn't something that happens all at once. It's a process, a journey. And like any journey, it begins with a single step. Once you take it, trouble means a disaster. Action is the key. You've faced the storm, you've felt the pain, you've seen your strength. But now, it's time to build something new, something unshakable, something that belongs to you and no one else. Let's start with the lies you've believed. They've been with you for so long that they almost feel like facts, don't they? You're not enough. You'll never change. This is all there is for you. But here's the truth. These lies were never yours to carry. They were planted in you by others. by their words, their actions, their expectations. And for too long, you've let them shape your life, but not anymore. The first step in reclaiming your power is to recognize those lies for what they are. Stories. Stories that someone else wrote for you. Stories that don't serve you anymore. So take a moment. Reflect on the beliefs you've been holding on to. Which ones are keeping you small? Which ones are holding you back? Write them down if you have to. See them on the page. Separate from yourself. And then, one by one, begin to let them go. Because the life you're about to build has no room for lies. Next comes forgiveness. And no, this isn't about excusing what was done to you. It's not about letting anyone off the hook. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. It's about releasing the grip that anger and resentment have on your heart. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of the past so you can move forward without it dragging you down. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to heal. To say, what happened to me was unfair, but it will not define me. This step isn't easy, but it's necessary. Because carrying the pain of the past into your future will only dim the light you're trying to ignite. And now it's time to build. Imagine you're standing in the middle of the wreckage left behind by the storm. The pieces of your past are scattered all around you. Broken dreams, lost opportunities, shattered self-beliefs. At first glance, it looks like ruin. But look closer. Those pieces, they're not trash. They're the raw materials for something extraordinary. They're the foundation of the life you're about to create. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. Every scar, every setback, every lesson learned has prepared you for this moment. And now, you get to choose what to build. Will it be a life rooted in fear or one fueled by courage? Will it be a structure that bends under the weight of others' expectations or one that stands tall, unapologetically your own? The choice is yours. And brick by brick, step by step, you'll create something that no storm can ever tear down. But let me be honest with you, this process won't be easy. Growth never is. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when the weight of it all feels too heavy. There will be moments when the old lies try to creep back in, whispering that you're not strong enough, that it's not worth the effort. But those moments, they're proof that you're on the right path. Because resistance is a sign of progress. And every time you push through it, you're building not just a life, but a legacy. Let's talk about what this process looks like in action. Step 1, recognize and rewrite the lies. Start by identifying the limiting beliefs that have held you back. Write them down, challenge them, replace them with truths. For example, lie, I'm not enough. Truth, I am more than enough just as I am. Lie, I'll always be stuck. Truth, I have the power to create change, one step at a time. Step 2, embrace forgiveness. Forgive those who hurt you, not for their sake, but for yours. Write a letter to the people or situations that have caused you pain. You don't have to send it. This is for you. Release the anger, the resentment, the bitterness, let it go, and in its place, let peace take root. Step 3, build with purpose. Decide what you want your life to look like moving forward. Set goals, small ones at first, ones that feel manageable. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small. Use your pain as fuel to push forward. Let your scars remind you of how far you've come, not how far you have to go. Step 4, practice gratitude and growth. Every day, take a moment to acknowledge what you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. And commit to growth, whether it's learning a new skill, pursuing a dream, or simply showing up for yourself in ways you never have before. Think of this process like rebuilding a house after a storm. Your foundation isn't broken, it's been reforged in fire. Your walls aren't fragile, they're reinforced by the lessons you've learned. And your roof, it's not a ceiling, it's the wings that will carry you higher. Every nail you drive, every brick you lay, every decision you make is a declaration. This is my life, this is my story, and I will build it my way. The storm tried to break you, but all it did was reveal your strength. Now it's time to use that strength to create a life that reflects the truth of who you are. This is the path forward. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And every step you take will bring you closer to the life you deserve, the life you were always meant to have. So pick up the pieces and start building. The future's waiting for you. Chapter 43. Look at yourself. Really look. Not at the version of you they tried to break, not at the person who doubted their own worth, but at who you've become. The storm that once loomed over you is gone now, and in its place stands someone transformed, someone unshakable, someone who has taken every ounce of pain, every scar, every doubt, and forged it into something powerful. This is your rebirth. You are no longer the broken one. You are the unbreakable one. Do you feel it? That quiet strength beneath your skin? The way your scars no longer feel like reminders of defeat but badges of victory? That's because you've changed. You've stepped out of the shadow of your struggles and into the light of your resilience. You're not the same person you were before the storm, and that's a good thing. The person you've become is stronger, wiser, and more alive than ever before. Think of a butterfly. It doesn't begin its life soaring through the skies. It starts as a caterpillar, grounded, crawling, limited, becoming a perfect being through the struggles and losses it has suffered. A rabid outlaw in triumph and needing to escape. And when the time comes, it retreats into darkness. It spins a cocoon, isolating itself in a place of pain and transformation. But what emerges isn't just a caterpillar with wings. It's something entirely new, something that couldn't exist without the struggle, without the breaking, without the rebirth. That's you. The cocoon you were trapped in, the lies, the doubts, the fears, has been shattered. And now, it's time to fly. Let me paint you a picture of who you are now. You walk with your head held high, not because life is suddenly perfect, but because you've learned to weather imperfection. You don't hide your scars anymore. They shine like streaks of gold in broken pottery, proof that you've been through the fire and come out stronger. Your voice, once silenced by fear, now carries the weight of truth. When you speak, people listen, because your words come from a place of authenticity, of experience, of triumph. But this isn't just about you. Your transformation isn't only for your benefit, it's for others too. Your story, your journey, your rise from the ashes, it's a light for others who are still lost in the dark. There are people out there right now who are where you once were. People who feel like they're drowning, like the storm will never end. And when they see you, when they see the strength you found, the resilience you've built, they'll realize something they never thought possible. If you can rise, so can they. You've become a beacon, a guidepost for those who are searching for hope. Your scars tell a story, one that speaks louder than any words ever could. They say, I've been through the storm, and I survived. I've been broken, and I rebuilt. I've been lost, and I found my way. And in telling that story, you give others permission to believe in their own strength, their own resilience, their own ability to rise. But let me be honest with you, the challenges aren't over. The storm may have passed, but life will always bring new winds, new rains, new tests. There will still be days when doubt creeps in, when fear whispers in your ear, when the weight of the world feels heavy again. But this time you're ready. This time you know who you are. This time you have the tools, the strength, the wings to rise above it all. Every challenge ahead is an opportunity to soar higher. Every setback is a chance to prove to yourself just how far you've come. Because now you don't fear the storm, you embrace it. You understand that it's in the chaos, in the struggle, in the breaking, that you find your greatest growth. The winds that once pushed you down now lift you higher. The rain that once soaked you now nourishes your roots. The darkness that once blinded you now reminds you of the light you carry within. This is your new identity. You are no longer a victim of the storm, you are a master of it. You've taken everything they threw at you and turned it into fuel. You've turned your pain into purpose, your scars into strength, your story into a testament of resilience. You are the embodiment of what it means to rise, to overcome, to transform. So, what will you do with this new identity? How will you use your strength, your wisdom, your wings? Because now, the choice is yours. You can stay grounded or you can soar. You can keep your story to yourself, or you can share it with the world. You can let the past define you, or you can use it as the foundation for something extraordinary. The possibilities are endless, and they're all within your reach. This is your rebirth. This is your moment to step fully into who you were always meant to be. The storm they threw at you wasn't the end, it was the beginning. It was the catalyst that brought you to this place, this strength, this unshakable identity. And now it's time to fly. The world is waiting for you to spread your wings. So rise, soar, and show them what it means to transform pain into power. This is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for, whether you realized it or not. The storm is behind you, the wreckage is cleared, and the horizon stretches wide and open before you. This is your moment. No more waiting, no more excuses. Everything you've endured, everything you've learned, everything you've become, it's all been leading to this. The question now is simple. What will you do with it? Rise. Rise above the lies they told you. Rise above the pain they left you with. Rise above the doubts that linger in the corners of your mind. This is your life, your story, and it's time to take charge of it. No one else is coming to save you. No one else holds the pen. You are the author, the creator, the master of your fate. And today, you begin writing the chapter where you rise. Let's be honest. Change isn't comfortable. Growth isn't easy. But neither is staying where you are. Think about it. The weight of regret, the ache of unfulfilled potential, the suffocating feeling of knowing you were meant for more but never reaching for it. That's the cost of standing still. That's the price of not rising. And you're done paying that price. So, what does rising look like? It's not a single leap or a grand gesture. It's a series of choices, small, deliberate, powerful choices that shift the trajectory of your life. It's choosing to challenge the voice in your head that says, I can't. It's choosing to show up for yourself, even on the days when it feels impossible. It's choosing to believe in your strength, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. Start small, take one step, make one change, speak one truth, and then another, and another. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration. I will not stay down. I will rise. Each choice you make is a brick in the foundation of the life you're building. Each action is proof that you're stronger than the storm, braver than the doubt, and more capable than you've ever given yourself credit for. This is your moment to rise, but it's also your moment to inspire. Your story isn't just your own. It's a light for others who are still lost in the dark. When you rise, you give them permission to rise too. When you share your journey, you remind them that they're not alone. Your courage becomes their courage. Your resilience becomes their hope. Your transformation becomes their reminder that they too can break free. Think about it. Somewhere out there, someone is waiting for your story. Someone who feels like they're drowning, like the storm will never end, like they'll never be enough. And when they see you, when they hear how you rose from the wreckage, they'll realize that it's possible for them too. You have the power to ignite a chain reaction of courage and transformation. All you have to do is rise. But let's make something clear. Rising doesn't mean the challenges will disappear. Life will still throw storms your way. There will still be moments of doubt, moments of struggle, moments when you question everything. But this time, you're ready. This time, you have the tools, the strength, the wings to weather anything that comes your way. Because now you know, the storm doesn't define you. You define the storm. So let me ask you, what will you do today to take back your story? What step will you take to reclaim your power? Will you let fear keep you grounded, or will you rise? Will you let the weight of the past hold you down, or will you spread your wings and fly? Because the choice is yours. It's always been yours. And today I'm challenging you to choose yourself, to choose strength, to choose action. Say it with me. I will rise. I will rise above the lies. I will rise above the pain. I will rise above the doubt. I will rise and I will fly. Say it again. Let it sink in. Let it become your mantra, your declaration, your promise to yourself. Because this is your time. The storm they threw at you wasn't the end. It was the beginning. And now it's your turn to take everything they thought would break you and use it to soar higher than they ever imagined. The horizon is calling. The future is waiting. And you are ready. Ready to rise, ready to soar, ready to claim the life that's always been yours. So go. Take the first step. Spread your wings, and don't you dare look back.